Hello everybody, once again this is AikawaKazu and welcome to the Blade and Soul overview video where I'll talk about some of the possible bad and then the good about my experience in the game so far. I'll start off the bad first, since some of you might not even try the game. If you see these indicators, I don't think I enjoy this part of the game and it is something that's not for you, and it's very turn off when you see such things. So I don't waste the time. So if you see such things, go ahead, don't try the game. So after that, I'll go on ahead and give you the rest of the good stuff about the game, with respective video footages, including some spoilers with regards to the main story quest. So here's some heads up. Alright, so what is some of the stuff that could possibly be bad for Blade and Soul? The first would be the presence of bots in the game, at least in the case of Blade and Soul Taiwan. In my PvP showcase video, I fought against a bot destroyer out of my 7 games, so it's not such that the bots are rampant, but they are bots. And bots have perfect timing of skills against me. It wasn't that enjoyable, even though they are still beatable, but it's a lot tougher. And while questing and leveling, I've seen like 5 to 6 destroyer characters like running in a train in a row in the level 30 area, and they were farming a few boss. So I would say that they are bots, but they are not like everywhere, but they are bots. So the boss situation is definitely not crazy out of hand, but they are definitely one part of Blade and Soul, at least for Taiwan, that needs to be addressed, and that's something some people do not really enjoy. But take note that bots cannot farm gold directly in Blade and Soul, since killing monsters do not give you gold directly, and you only get some gold if you have the VIP pass, which you can buy for, I believe, a month duration at 19 Sing dollars. So I don't think every bot is gonna buy $19 just to farm gold, just to sell. So from what I can see, bots do not directly hurt the economy in the game, but they do because maybe they farm some of the professional materials, that kind of stuff, but they don't crazily affect the economy of the game, but they do affect in some way, I'm sure. So the next part is the looting system. Alright, some of you guys might have tried, or if you've not tried. For myself, when I entered the dungeon for the first time at level 20 with other players in the game, when an item dropped above a blue grading, that was a bidding system. So what a bidding system means is that a person that bids the most amount of gold will be able to get the item he wants. Immediately I was like, what? I was extremely negative about it, since it means that players that are rich would always win the bids, right? And there's no need, like you play World of Warcraft, there's like need, and then there's like a greed option, so some people can say that it's pure greed. But when doing more dungeons or when running with public parties, I realized that the first thing is, when a player wins a bid, the gold that he bidded for that item will be split among all the other players. So let's say someone bid 10 gold for a very rare item, and there's like 4 people in the party, the other 3 will get 10 divided by 3. So and the gold you actually earn from losing a bid for an item can then be saved for bidding for your item to win in the next time. Even though some might say that the item might not drop the next time, but at least you have the gold. So it's not all GG, it's not all lost for you in this case of the bidding system. And I noticed that usually so far in the dungeons that I've run, drops drop. Let's say I really want this item in my, I believe, level 36 dungeon, I just bid like 11 silvers, and people understand, they will not bid higher than you because they realize that that item is not worth more than 11 silvers. So in some sense, you no longer need to battle with rolling. Like some people, let's say there's 2 assassins and then an assassin items drop, and it's like both of you roll and the guy is like 1 row higher, like what? So this system actually allows you to so-called assure the item that you want as long as you have to go for it. And because it is also based on gold, some people might not feel that some people might not be comfortable in bidding higher than you if you're actually already bidding for a significant price. And like I mentioned, if you lose the bid, the gold will be split among all of you guys, so that's not all bad. And because of the equipment system of this game, the bidding system I think is justified for it, and if you're partying with friends, doesn't really matter. So because Blade and Soul uses an equipment growth system, it's not like you must get the Black Dragon Algrid sword, maybe there's 2 sword masters in the team. No, it's not the case. It's not that case, at least from what I've seen, because the equipment growth system is basically you feeding your previous weapon with other equipment and then getting it to evolve and get to a high level. So you won't find an equipment that you must have, even though most of the weapons require you to acquire a specific equipment or weapon for you to break the limit or evolve your weapon, which usually from dungeons or few bosses. And well, if you don't get it on the first run, you can get it from the chest that you can get when completing the dungeon by using a key to open. So yeah, I don't see the loot system being a big deal, basically, in terms of getting what you need or what you want. So yeah, but some people might not like the looting system. But so far, while I'm appalled at the start, I would say that I'm totally fine with it right now, given the system that's in the game. Alright, the next and the last thing will be my primary concern, and some of you guys' primary concern when you play it. The leveling process is very similar to standard MMORPGs. So if you're looking for some revolutionary, leveling or progression system out there, B&S is pretty much the same. You do quest, you go to an area, go to talk to an NPC. NPC tells you to kill X number of monsters, maybe 10 frogs, maybe 10 pigs, or collect, straws from the field, from certain locations, so on and so forth. And I know that some people really don't like this kind of leveling process, but I have to say that all the MMORPGs that is still standing strong today, like World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, Final Fantasy XIV, do not shy away from this form of leveling process. So yeah, something that works, I guess, and something that is accepted around. But do know that the leveling process in Blade & Soul is very, very nicely designed, such that the flow is actually very good. You do this main quest and side quests, and then these quests will bring you to the NPC that you need to talk to in the next area, so you won't feel lost. Basically, the flow is very good. You feel that you don't feel lost, and I know I repeated myself, but also know that while it is kill X monsters or collect X items, in the case of collecting X items, sometimes the quests are designed very, very interestingly. Like maybe you need to damage a monster, and then you need to use F on it, which is to trigger some form of behavior, and then that monster might run to a certain area and allow you to get the item that you need. So it's not all boring, alright? And while it is all very linear, it is all questing, it's all moving around from area A to area B, Blade & Soul quests have very interesting backstory. Like in their dialogue from the NPC is all good. I think I shared in my earlier Blade & Soul video such that there was one quest and a female NPC wanted you to retrieve her elegant dress from the bandits. And then when you do and return it to her, the female NPC realized that there's male body chest hair on it, and she was like, what? If you read the dialogue, that is. And just like, no, you can have it now and you can have it to sell it. So those little details really make the questing a lot more fun and interesting if you do pay attention to them. And if you think this isn't good enough for you, let's move on, to the next part, because it only gets better when it comes to backstory and dialogue. The first thing when people ask me, Kazu, should I play Blade & Soul? And this is what I reply, alright? Just doing the Blade & Soul main story is already worth it. That means leveling from 1 to 50 while doing all the main quests and all the side quests, which is your main way of leveling here, is good enough. The cutscenes, the storyline are really, really very, very good. And the most important thing is they're constant. You play some MMOs, they have very, very nice design, prologue or tutorial cutscenes, which in the case of Blade & Soul, by the way, is very good. I didn't want to upload it because I feel that it's a spoiler. I've actually recorded it. But Blade & Soul starts with a very, very good prologue and tutorial cutscene. And then, some games, they just die off. Like if you look at Dragon Nest, you don't really get a lot of nice storyline cutscenes past level 40. Or, doesn't feel, as much effort is put into them later on. But in Blade & Soul, so far, I'm level 39, the cutscenes are just getting better. It's very detailed, it's very epic, it's very nice, it makes you feel part of the entire storyline. It's great. So check out some of these cutscenes that I have, very short snippets here. This guy, I didn't read time. Oh my god, that's the true Justice Crash, guys. The guy's body disintegrated. Wu Shen.
真秦希言为什么会放过你这种家伙？见到师傅，请代我问好。不对，
客官，我应该不止说过一次了吧？千万别在我的客栈里惹是生非。
真是。
武神盘。天哪，有没有伤到哪里？
没，我只是擦破了点皮，请别担心。
真是幸好。但是，你若再惹事的话，休怪我对你不客气。
啊，好，好，好。哦，对了，哎，
武神
那个
只会指向武神的后裔。
有没有受
难道
伤啊？
那孩子，
过来，让我看看吧。没事吧？有没有受什么伤啊？啊，还好心脏还在跳动，这还真是吓人。
She's becoming Apex. Look at that top view, guys. The plot is real. Such cute plots.
会佩戴上武神之翼，带它飞向武神长眠的地方。但是
Oh, look at her eyes! Holy shit! Look at her eyes! No! She's becoming Apex! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. She's gonna get a CC dash. Dun dun dun. What the? So, what? They unsealed this little warbird. Oh yeah, it is Wu Shen Zhi Yi. Yi means bird basically. Holy shit, guys. We just summoned something very badass, and look at that, that thing just owned a bone dragon. Oh my goodness. 10 out of 10 cutscene. Hype. Oh shit! Your ex Kohai senior is right behind you. It's not good. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the cutscenes. So let's move on to the next thing, but you know, again, excellent main storyline and cutscenes really make Blade and Soul really fun to play, and I think that is definitely one strong point about why you should try out Blade and Soul. Like, you know, leveling 1 to 50, trying out the main story quest. If you really don't have any other game to try, maybe a bot with Dragoness, just play it. It's worth the time, alright? But let's move on to the next part, okay? I'm sure you guys know Blade and Soul's great and deep character customization. You can make your plots look extremely nice, you know, you can... There's a Lolly class, which is the Lin class. There's the very, very tall, strong build class. And you can try my class, the so-called human class, which is the Jin race. And you can make a character like mine, which I'm very satisfied with, you know. This is one of the few rare times that I actually created a female character in MMOs. The first time, I believe, was Black Desert Online. Second time was actually Skyforge, but Skyforge was a disaster, so I didn't upload the video in the end. But Skyforge had good character customization. And Blade and Soul is definitely one of those that, you know, started the very, very deep character customizations in, you know, current and future MMORPGs like, you know, Black Desert Online. And even trying out Black Desert Online myself, I feel that I feel that Blade and Soul's character customization is actually better and more user-friendly. That's just my personal feel. And aside from that, like, I don't talk about it because I think everybody knows about Blade and Soul character customization. If you're a fan of costumes in MMORPGs, Blade and Soul has plenty. And the most important thing is the best looking costumes can be earned from achievements, few boss, Wheel of Fortune, PvP and more, which means they are free. Alright, they are free. Like the previous costume that I was wearing on my other videos, which has a very beautiful floating little headdress, which you can get from the Scorpion and the golem boss. Those are all free. Alright, let me just show you guys the possible costumes that you can actually get from this game. Alright, let's just go here. Alright. Okay, this one is not. This one is... Okay, so there are costumes from the cash shop, but the best looking costumes are not from the cash shop. So these are all the earlier areas. Alright. Costumes, look at that. There's already like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 costumes that you can acquire. Alright. This one's from the desert area. I'm trying to get this. This one is acquired from a dungeon. I call this the Black Kirito costume. Look at how nice it looks. Alright, so awesome. And I believe there are some that are really very nice. Let me try to find them. Yes. Not this one. Okay, this one's also very nice. I'm trying to get this one too. And basically, this is actually from a world boss. Yep. Correct. I mean the field boss, sorry. So the tooltip of these in this wardrobe, this is the wardrobe function that I believe was introduced in Blade and Soul later in the days. It's very good. Basically tells you all the costumes that you can get and how you can get them. Just look at how many costumes. Most of them, I believe at least 75% of them can be acquired from achievements, PvP, killing few bosses, rolling the Wheel of Fortune roulette. Just look at that. So many. This is... I believe, look at this. This is... Just now we saw the Wind God costume. And... I went over. I'm trying to get back to where I was just now. This one is others, so there are a lot of others costume there. I believe maybe event based or something. But yeah, you can see there are a lot of costumes that you can acquire here. Many that you can get. So that is definitely one great and strong point about Blade and Soul. No more $45 to $60 costume sets in the case of Dragon S Southeast Asia. If you're a costume lover, Blade and Soul, free! So many free costumes. And moving on, guys, will be the combat system. You know, I always tell people that Dragon S have the best combat system because it is full non-targeting. So Blade and Soul do not have a full non-targeting combat system. It is more similar to Terra, but I would say personally, I would say it's better. And I feel that Blade and Soul's combat system for what it has, what kind of game it is actually very smooth. At least for the assassin class I've played, the combat feels very smooth and fluid and definitely makes you feel like an assassin. You're fast, you can get into stealth, and most importantly, I really love the counter parry dodge system in the game, which rewards skillful play. For example, for the assassin, like all the other classes, you can use the Q or E key on your keyboard to turn, you know, behind your opponent. Like if your opponent is facing you, is attacking you, you press the Q or E key, you can actually do a quick turn to go behind your opponent. And you know, these are actually used to avoid quick and strong AoE attacks that, you know, usually bosses or players usually use. This, like you can see the AoE and you can press Q to get behind them straight away. But for assassin class, if you time it such that you use your Q or E just before the attack hits you, you are rewarded with instant stealth, and that's a key to assassin PvP. And you know, there are some other great movements such as double tapping of S, which allows a backflip with the same mechanics. In other words, aside from the hard counter that I told you guys for the assassin class, where you know there's this 2-second duration where your character will counter and get into stealth if your opponent attacks you. There's the Q and the E, which is a lot tougher to use, which requires skillful play. You have the double S, and that's excluding all the talents that you have from your skills and all that kind of stuff. So for the assassin class, it's awesome so far for me, for the Blade and Soul combat system. I know some people do not really like some of the other classes, like Queen didn't like the slow combat of Destroyer class we wrote for Summoner. So make sure you go, you know, try out all the classes, or you know, look up some videos before you find a class that you want. But so far the combat system is great. It's not, I would say, not ideal in terms of Dragoness, but for Blade and Soul, for the open world PvP it has, it's good. It's good. And next up, guys, will be the equipment growth system. Blade and Soul have beautifully removed the need to acquire new tiers of equipment to replace the old equipment as you're leveling up, like many other unlike many other standard MMORPGs. You know, instead of always changing your equipment, you know, every time you get to a new level cap, like, you know, when 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 40 to 50, you always find yourself changing. You can grow your current equipment that they do give you as you progress. I believe you get most of them, your rings, earrings and necklace, and your main weapon by level 16 or 20. Alright, and you grow them by feeding them the same type of equipment, and every 5 levels you'll break the limit of your equipment, and then on the 10th level you can evolve a weapon, and the form actually changes, the looks actually changes as well. So, you know, imagine now, right now, your Desert Dragon sword, L grade, can be acquired by feeding it, I don't know, epic weapons from what's the level 60 nest? From, let's say, Typhoon Kim nest. Like, you get a lot of Typhoon Kim. Don't even need to be the same weapon, it can be a weapon, it just needs to be a weapon, and you can just feed it to grow it. And you don't need to, you know, enhance it anymore to plus 12, that kind of stuff. So there's no RNGesus enhancement anymore. You just need to feed stuff. And then when you want to evolve it, you'll require a specific equipment and material. But all these specific equipment and material always drops from dungeons, few bosses, Build of Fortune, weapon chests, and more. And the tooltip do tell you exactly where to acquire them, so it's not hard to figure it out. Though sometimes you might have some RNG issues to get your class, you know, specific weapon drop for you. Like Queen have experienced where he was trying to get the evolve equipment needed for his level, I believe 10 or 15 equipment from the 1000-year-old vampire field boss roulette. Spent a lot of keys, didn't get it, so sometimes you might face such cases. But do know that the keys that opens the weapon chest can be acquired by daily quests. So that is basically all, you know, you don't need to pay a single cent, alright, to grow your weapons. And so far I really love the system. It makes you kinda, you know, how do I say, be attached to your weapons, like since you have already invested so much on it rather than replacing it with a better one. I mean, how many times have you guys feel like, what, my plus 12 Sea Dragon sword? You know, I have all my old plus 12, plus 10 Ancient Totem swords, my old Desert Dragon L grades, all sitting in my warehouse in Dragoness because I don't, you know, want to disassemble them because I feel that I kind of have an attachment to them since I've spent so much time with them and, you know, overall terms of gold to enhance them. But Blade and Soul, you're attached to weapons, but you don't need to worry about replacing them at all. You're always growing them, so that system is great. Alright, and definitely worthwhile to experience. I think the rest of the plus points are pretty much the rest of Blade and Soul itself. PvP is enjoyable so far. You know, I'm level 29, I can beat level 50 players if I'm skillful enough. The dungeon finder system is awesome. You know, you can get to a dungeon finder room, sorry, and you can just queue for any of the dungeons that you can, you know, you're eligible to run, and you can just queue it there. For the more, and when you do that, you'll be doing the dungeons where a lot of people run as well. So it's not tough to find players to do with you for sure, and it's not tough to find people to do with you repeatedly. And that is great. That is definitely very convenient. You know, few bosses in every area, and every new area that I go to, you know, have always been interesting. Their difficulty and uniqueness increases as you progress. So overall, Blade and Soul is definitely worthwhile to play. And if you need specific videos to watch regarding the stuff that I've talked about here, I've uploaded most of them already previously, you know, like the World Boss PvP Showcase, that kind of stuff. You can go check them out. But if you want to look for me, I'm playing in the Blade and Soul Taiwan server in龍爭虎鬥sub-server. My name has been AikawaKazu. I hope this video helped you to decide if you want to try out Blade and Soul. Thanks for watching once again, God bless, and I'll see you guys next time. You guys can go, sorry. Goodbye. Oh, goes for a jump slash swag. What is impact wave here? Could be a misclick. It's the full-blown line drive. Things are already heating up here. This is called by Aero Combo Games Heavy Slash. Void the drop kick here is Zack gets the Rising Slash as a Mr. NK Zhao. Welcome.